Look closely at the breath you are taking right now. Observe the entire cycle, the inhalation, the brief moment of fullness, and the gentle, necessary release of the exhalation. We do not cling to the inhalation, do we? We do not demand that that specific moment of fullness stay with us forever. We surrender it, knowing that the very act of surrender ensures the next, nourishing breath will follow. Why, then, do we cling so violently to the moments, the people, the roles, and the feelings that are inherently designed for flow? We confuse the river of life with the dam of expectation. We spend our energy trying to halt the inevitable current, building walls of expectation and demands for permanence around things meant for constant change. When the river moves, when a relationship dissolves, when a feeling fades, when a role shifts, we call it loss, we call it betrayal. But the river is only obeying the oldest law of the universe, impermanence. The greatest tragedy is not the departure, but the sheer effort the mind expends in fighting the truth. If someone disappears from your life, do not chase them with the desperate question, why me? Why now? The first practice of freedom is learning to replace the agonizing why with the quiet, profound thank you. Thank you for the shared path. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the necessary exit. When you face a significant loss, your first raw cry is usually, why was this companionship, this stability, this joy taken from me? But consider this fundamental question. Did you ever truly possess it? The teachings remind us that every event, every possession, and every person is a temporary alignment of affinity. You met because the cosmic debt, the karma, or the shared lesson was due. This companionship, this success, this fleeting joy, was it not a gift, a borrowed moment, an alignment of causes that had a natural lifespan? How can we lose something that was never ours to own in the first place? Think of every person as a ferry boat, loaned to you for the specific, difficult passage across a stretch of water. They are essential for that river crossing, but their purpose is strictly defined by the boundaries of the water. They do not owe you the entire journey through the desert or the forest that follows. Is it a betrayal when the ferry docks? Or is it a declaration of your arrival on the next, necessary shore? The true wisdom is not in fighting for the ferry to stay, but in stepping off the boat with gratitude, knowing your lesson is complete. The departure of that ferry is not an ending. It is a profound signal that you are ready for the next path alone. We suffer because we believe in the myth of the sudden departure. We lament, we were fine yesterday, why today? But in the view of true awareness, there is no sudden departure. The ending began not in the final break, but in the subtle signals long before. The ending began in the small silences, in the words left unsaid, in the shifting of focus, in the growing effort required to maintain the illusion of seamlessness. The dissolution of a bond is not a disaster. It is the natural, inevitable final stage of decay, which is just as sacred as the stages of formation and abating. The pain is not caused by the collapse itself, but by our refusal to acknowledge the subtle signals of decay for months or years. Ask yourself, when a relationship requires careful maintenance, painful vigilance, and constant anxiety to hold the pieces together, has it not already entered its phase of decay? At this point, separation is not abandonment. It is a liberation, a necessary cut of the ties that have become strained, binding, and ultimately damaging to both souls. Can you allow the dust to settle without trying to glue the broken pieces back together? Can you accept that what was perfect for one season may no longer serve the next? Why does the departure wound us so deeply? Is it the absence of them, or the sudden, terrifying absence of the role they played? Do you fear losing the person, or do you fear losing your own comfort, your defined identity, your security? This exposure reveals the root of all suffering: ego, attachment. The Buddha did not ask the Brahmin to put down the physical vase. He asked him to put down his clinging mind. The greatest attachment is not to the person, but to the role they play in your life: the anchor, the savior, the mirror that reflects your own worth. We use them to define our status, our happiness, and our safety. But this requires a radical shift in perspective. You must become the master of the house. Imagine your soul as a magnificent temple. For a time, others are invited in to share the light, to pray at your altar. But the light source, the true, eternal flame, must reside in the center, tended only by you. If your light is dependent on the approval or presence of a guest, your world will collapse when they walk out the door. The only truly sovereign foundation is that which is built within your own solitary heart. The person who walked away performed a harsh, catalytic work, the forced cessation of dependence. They were the necessary surgeon who cut the rope, forcing you to use your own legs and discover your immense, solitary strength. This painful cut is, in truth, the most profound teaching you could have received. How do we move forward without collapsing? We cultivate a heart that is not like the surface, where the winds of emotion rage. Instead, we dive to the depths. Miles below the chaos, the current remains constant, cold, and utterly still. This unmoving foundation is the heart of Prajna. Solitude, then, is not emptiness. It is the fullness of your own presence. It is realizing that you contain everything you ever needed. You are whole. You are complete. You are sufficient. Look to the vast sky. Two clouds merge for a time, appearing as one. But the wind separates them, and they each go on to water their own patch of the earth. Their separation was not an ending. It was a transition to their own unique purpose. Say thank you for the path they walked with you. Bless their journey, and turn your gaze forward. You have absorbed the lesson, completed the practice, and now you are free to follow your own course. May you walk in great, unshakable peace